You guys are probably so sick of me making videos in my car, and I sincerely apologize for that. So today we're going to be talking about the top movies I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of movies and I might actually be leaving some out, but like just because I forgot about them, but like that kind of goes to show how like not memorable they were to me. So I'm talking about like, the most memorable ones that I thought were amazing. Some of them are really basic and like new, it's just I loved them. And as far as being like a art hoe goes, I'm not like super well versed in like underground and like indie movies. I need to find the Starbucks, so I think they're going to come. So let's talk about everybody's, like, I think one of the most controversial like movies or directors or whatever. I actually really like Quentin Tarantino. I've made a video about him about like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood before. I think it's a really good movie. I don't have it on this list just because it didn't make the cut, but also just because overall, both like in terms of just like my personal opinion, I loved it and it's amazing, but also just in terms of like how easily you can watch it and whether or not I'd suggest somebody who doesn't understand Tarantino to watch it. I don't suggest it. But if you like Tarantino, you've watched his films before and you're like into that kind of stuff, yeah, I totally suggest it. Anyways, let's talk about Kill Bill. Kill Bill is honestly a really good like franchise. I am obsessed with it in every sense of the word. Some people have criticized Tarantino for being anti-feminist, misogynistic, and whatever because none of his movies ever portray a strong female lead. But have any of you guys seen Kill Bill? Because that's a pretty badass movie if you ask me, and it shows female strength. So yeah, like yeah, she like kills a bunch of women, but like also she's a badass woman herself. It's just an awesome movie. The story is just so interesting, and it's one of those movies that like I didn't look at my phone during, and like that to me shows how good a movie is if like I'm not like staring at my phone the whole time. I can't really explain this right, but like I just think that, you know, Uma Thurman's character really shows a whole other side of female strength and empowerment, and I found it really moving in some type of way, and that anybody who says that he's anti-feminist is completely wrong because of this like franchise of movies. So Quentin Tarantino makes great movies. Next there's Pulp Fiction, which is on my list because everybody likes Pulp Fiction. If you don't like Pulp Fiction, there's something wrong with you. I'm not saying that to be mean, it's just the truth. You're gonna let me go and that's kind of rude. Pulp Fiction is a movie that everybody likes. It's what kind of introduced me to Tarantino and led me to literally loving every single one of his movies, including Jackie Brown and Inglourious Basterds and Hateful Eight. All of those are on this list, and I'm not going to get into why because if you watch them you'll understand. Pulp Fiction is really good. It's a cult favorite movie. You can just trust the mass on that one. Inglourious Basterds is so interesting, and honestly, like, oh god, like that movie shook me in so many ways, and I highly suggest it. The storyline, I don't want to give any away because I didn't expect it to be what it was, and it was so much better than what I thought it could be, so go watch that. Goodfellas was a great movie. I didn't watch it until recently, but I honestly thought it was really good. I especially liked it because of the soundtrack. I think a soundtrack can really make or break a movie for me, and all of these movies just had a really good soundtrack, especially Goodfellas. It had some George Harrison and some Eric Clapton, which was like super interesting to like contrast because if you know the history between them, it was just an interesting little vibe. Top Gun is a classic. It's super easy to watch, it's super easy to digest, but it'll take you on like this really incredible like emotional journey about, you know, not so much the realities of being an army pilot, but just kind of like, I don't know, it gives you a good glimpse. You get really attached to the characters, and it's just like an amazing story. All of these movies have just an amazing story. Ford versus Ferrari, that was the movie I saw in my taking myself on a date video. Holy, I went off on that movie in that video too. I really didn't expect to like it because I'm not like a huge car geek. I'm not a huge car geek. I'm not, I don't know, it was a very, like from the outer shell, it looked like a very masculine, and like, it just looked like a masculine movie. I'm not a masculine person, so I didn't expect to like it that much, but I really did. It really, like, I cried, I laughed, I was so impressed by the story, by the cinematography, by just like the way that they were able to take this piece of history and blow it up on the big screen and really tell a story that would really hit every single person in the theater, regardless of gender, interest, age, whatever. It was incredible, and the talent, like, there were every single part, like, that movie was so well casted. The crew, like, just did such an amazing job, and it just looked so freaking good. The next movie is Little Women. That also came out recently. That movie took me on a roller coaster. There was a lot of things that really frustrated me about that movie, mainly like not knowing the storylines properly of all the characters, but the parts that I loved, I adored, and like, it was so moving, and it was just such an empowering like movie, and like the cast was beautiful. Like, that movie was so well shot, so well casted, like it was so good, it was well directed, like it was amazing, and like the writing was great. Like, I cried during that movie, I laughed during that movie, like it was so moving. I saw it with my sister and we both left it feeling so fulfilled, and like we were frustrated at certain outcomes, but like every single like loose end was tied. And some people like it. I like a sense of like intrigue after they see a movie, but I like to be fulfilled for the most part, and I felt so fulfilled after that movie. Yeah, like it just was a beautiful movie. It really is one of those movies that like you can take like your mom and your grandma to see, and they're gonna love it, and you're gonna love it too. So yeah, I just want to give a special shout out to a movie that I absolutely hated, and that's Cats. Why did they have to make that a movie? Why did they have to make it look that way? Why did they have to make it sound that way? Cats was terrible. Cats was awful. My sister and I went to go see it during Christmas, and it was horrible. Like, there was no reason that that had to exist, and I'm so disappointed in Hollywood for producing that piece of garbage. Like, watch it, you're gonna feel like you're on some sort of drug. It's so terrible, and it's sexualizing, like it makes you so uncomfortable. Like, they sexualize cats, and it just feels so weird, and it's not a good time. I feel like this video was really lame and boring and bad, but I hope you guys enjoyed it anyways. If you guys want more movie type reviews, I will give you those in the future. I do plan on making a lot more. I look like garbage. I do plan on making a lot more in the future. I've gotten a lot of like requests to make more videos about movies. I hope you all have a wonderful, amazing day. Finish the video properly, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave it a thumbs up. If you didn't, I'm sorry. Let me know your thoughts and your favorite movies down below, and subscribe so that we can hit 200 subscribers before my 20th birthday. Bye.